night number 25 of 30 Days of Love Songs. This is one of my favorite love songs. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in the town. And sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and drown, singing Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene, good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Stop your rambling, stop your gambling, stop staying out late every night. Go home to your wife and your family. Stay down by the fireside bright, singing Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene, good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Irene, she is a young woman, sweet as the morning rain. Sometimes she's as close as the songs I sing, as far as the southbound train, the southbound train, the southbound train, singing Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams, singing Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. I love that song. And I know there's so much sadness and really depression in it in a way. But it's just so simple. Irene, good night. those incredibly simple things that people say to each other. Good night, Irene. That's, I mean, 2/3 of the way you're through the song, and that's just Irene, good night. And like everything that means. One of the things that I really love about this song is, some of the folk songs that I really love, I just write additional verses to. And I've been doing that since I was a kid. And this is one of them. Because I was really fascinated with the story. Like, what is the story? Sometimes I live in the country, sometimes I live in the town. Sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and drown. I mean, like, could I even sing that verse? I don't know if I sang that verse, and it's so, right out there, like, I don't know what this guy was going through, but it was something really intense, and I mean, and then the story starts coming, like, well, who was he? And, who was Irene? And so when I was playing it years ago, and it's on an album of mine, I love it so much. And the version is really, there's this middle section, just, Irene, she's a young woman, sweet as the morning rain. Sometimes she's as close as the songs I sing, as far as the southbound train, the southbound train, the southbound train, the southbound train, singing Irene, good night. I'm just thinking, like, what is this guy going through, and what is all the turmoil, and what does this woman mean to him? Like, it's just like it comes out, this sunlight comes out. I mean, I guess clearly he was married, and, how do I feel about that? Singing love songs. I don't know. But it's one of my favorite love songs. There's so much emotion there, and it's just so simple. So that is Night 25. A very simple song. And just for those, like I promised I would say, like, what are the chords? So it's really, Irene, good night. That's really just, you'll notice, if these are just all chords in the C scale, because even if they're sort of more rich, Irene, so it's like C major 7, A, or C minor, C major 9, A minor 9, D minor 9, G 9, D minor 9, G flat 9, C major 9, then C sus, and F major 7, and then D minor 7, G sus, and C. So it really doesn't go very far from the key of C. until it comes to that middle section, which is not in any original or anything like that. And there I don't, that's kind of in, I've got a C, D, E, F, G, A flat, B flat. And then I'm just getting that harmony going and playing a G in the bass. Irene, she's a young woman. And so for me, it's just a matter of like finding what gives me the emotion of this song. And originally I didn't write this song. Originally I arranged it, well, I played it or improvised it on the piano where I can be a lot more dissonant. But the piano's in the cold part of the house, so I'm going to stay in the warm part of the house. And I'm here earlier tonight so I can go to sleep early. But I always love to say hello and see what you have to say. So this is Tammy. Oh, great. I feel like there's so much romance in this song. Let's see who's here and say hello to you. Hello. Oh, let's get back into a happy key. Hello, Richard Billig. Hello, Linda DeMott. Hello, Liz Brown. I'm glad you're here. And I'm looking at the cat who's right back there. And I want something to rhyme like not. And did I say Liz Brown? I hope I did. David Wagner Jr. and Kathleen Munninghoff is watching. And Helen Shellwright is watching too. Benita Aylmagar is watching. Victoria Johnson, hello to you. Nick Castro Maurizio is watching. And Victoria Johnson says goodnight. Mike Ferguson and Linda DeMott. We used to sing this to a wild ant and she would laugh. Was her name Irene? And Tammy Martell Halun is watching. La da da da. Stacy Monahan Link. Linda says I love the way you could adapt any song to the harp. There are possibly are songs I couldn't, but I haven't played any in this series. But I see what you mean. It's been amazing to me to think of these songs that I love. Many of them I didn't know I could play on the harp. So this challenge has been an amazing experience. The commitment just coming here every night and seeing you. And then what I discovered about what songs can do in terms of connecting us to these feelings of love and romance. Many days I cried when I was experimenting, not because I was sad, but because I felt that love. And also there are times when I feel much more more than I'm actually singing, because I do feel like, I'm afraid that like, oh, if I sang up really high, it might sound bad, and then, who knows what would happen. And yet, I have that commitment to want to get to the depth of the seed of what the seed of the song. And Stacy says, I always wondered about that verse too. Oh yeah, pretty depressed verse. Emily Brecker Greenberg, I'm so glad to see you here. I'm embarrassed about this, but I want to sing this song again. La da da dee. Irene was her name. Whose name? Hello, Lori Craig. I'm going to just sing it again. And I totally understand if you don't feel like, I'm just going to indulge myself. And I'm going to try to indulge myself in singing it like exactly the way that I want to sing it. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in the town. And sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Goodnight, Irene. Goodnight, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Stop your rambling, stop your gambling, stop staying out late every night. Go home to your wife and your family. Stay down by the fireside bright, singing Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night. good night. I got a very different story from that this time. It's incredible. Just how you sing a song can make a very different story. So for me, the story this time was of a man who's, in love with this Irene. And then he says to himself, my God, don't do this. Don't leave your wife and your family and everything that's important to you. Don't do that. And he hears himself say that. And so when he does say goodnight at the end, he's really saying goodbye. And that he will only ever see her again in his dreams. I never heard that in the song. I never experienced it in the song. And I'm just blown away by what happens when we sink into a song and find the meaning for us. And like for me, what was really beautiful about that version was his resolve, his peace, his surrender, and all, his peace at the end. He made peace with it. He let go and he went on. So that's what I heard tonight. Oh, thank you, Emily. All right. Well, I will sing a lullaby as I like to do at the end of every night, the way my mother used to sing a lullaby to me, which was just singing. But what lullaby? Oh, you know what? My favorite, I think I've told you this before, but my favorite thing that she ever sang, and it was just so simple, was, just, ah, baby, ah, baby. And I remember hearing her sing that to me. And I want to be clear. My mother was not, we had a pretty intense relationship. And yet there was always peace and love in music. And I think that's why I remember, and that's why I love going back and remembering that so much. And it's funny because this whole challenge has been about romance. And I see her also as a very romantic character because when I grew up, she was dating. And so my first experience of romance was through my mother and through the dates that she would go out on and through sometimes being taken on those dates and sitting on a bar stool and having a Shirley Temple. And, so I'm embarrassed to say there is a lot of romance, kind of wound up in that. So when I sing a lullaby, and now suddenly I'm embarrassed. I'm actually blushing that I sing a lullaby every night when I'm done. But I do. But you know what I want to sing? What's that song? Que Sera Sera. Okay, that's what I'm going to sing as the lullaby tonight. Okay. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what shall I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. I was just realizing there's something so, to me, so beautiful and so vulnerable and yet so powerful about just a human voice, you know, without an orchestra, without an instrument, without another voice, just one human voice singing. And maybe it's because, you know, I heard that when I was a kid so much, and then I saw my brother being, you know, I saw her doing that thing, what's it called, rocking and singing. It's such a beautiful thing, and sometimes I will hear, I guess that's really romantic to me, the idea of, you know, hearing somebody singing when they don't know that you're hearing them. Sometimes outside I'll hear somebody singing like that, and it's just this magical thing. And also, you know, somebody in your home, just, and when that just comes and it's just there, this, just the magic of actual live singing, not a radio, not a record player, whatever there is now. Just a human voice is just so human. So, farewell. Good night. Thank you so much. Oh, Tammy says she loves that song. Then I'll sing one more time, and then I'll end. When I was just a little girl, and I'm imagining you singing with me. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. Good night. Thank you so much.